Ladies and gentlemen, this is a chess set. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but you know, if you're here and you don't know what chess is, this is chess. Now, for the sake of this video, which I don't know what this video is supposed to be, I'm just going to be hands. These are my hands. I have hands. This is a hand reveal. Maybe you'll get more later. Maybe tomorrow will be a feet reveal. Who knows? Who really knows? But for the sake of this video, I am just hands. Think of me as just hands. I am nothing else. But yeah, today I'm literally just going to be playing chess against myself, and we're going to see how it's going to go. Now, a couple rules. First off, there will be no timer. I don't care to time myself, but I usually don't think slow. And every single turn, I'm going to be moving the board. Like so. Pretty simple. Those are the only rules I'm going to establish. Also, I'm going to try not to use my hands too much because that's weird. Also, I normally don't talk with my hands, so I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm not a normal hand talker. I don't know how people just talk with their hands and do whatever and say stuff with their hands. That's very weird to me. Even what I'm doing now, I have no idea what I'm doing. We're not going to look into that any further. Without further ado, sorry, that was not me resigning first move. Additionally, perhaps I will add like notation and stuff somewhere in the video. It could be top left, right, somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be. It could be right over the board, but I'm probably going to have it in some layout or some design to where you could also see like a side by side or what it looks like on a flat surface. And yeah, this is really my first IRL content like ever. You know, technically like I am an established like photographer, and there's a lot that I do. There's a lot that I do like outside of content creation, but I just haven't messed with like photography or anything in years. It's been over half a decade since I've touched my camera, and today I felt like, you know, doing a little recording. Plus, this would make for a very interesting video in my opinion. So yeah, we're going to get into it just whenever, I guess. I suppose we will get into it. This is going to be a best 2 out of 3. Again, no timer. And yeah, I'm going to try to explain every single move and why I'm doing it. And, you know, there won't be any throwing. So I won't be like, oh, you know, I'm putting the queen's pawn out here and I'm going to put this right here. I'm not going to take it, and I'm going to boop and empty move right here, and I'm going to go boop. Oh, I'm not going to do anything. We're not doing any of that. No shenanigans like that where I'm throwing. I'm going to be using 7,000,000% of my IQ, and we're going to be playing some good old standard chess. You might learn something from this. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm not like a chess legend. I am nowhere near any of the people that get talked about in the chess community. But there's like a piece of hair on the board. What the? Get off the board. What the? Get off the board. Oh my. Oh, also, this is a magnetic board. Look at that. I love this board. There are like scratches. So this right here is not a piece of hair. That's a scratch. I've had this board for years. I've had this board, I think, longer than I've had my camera. So interesting tidbit right there. We're just gonna get started. I think that's enough like show or whatever. I really just want to do some IRL content, and I had no idea what to do. Originally I was going to like eat or something, or like I was gonna make food, you know. I was gonna make food. That didn't happen because I don't have anything in my fridge. I got leftovers in my fridge, so it's not gonna be exciting. But maybe you guys will get a cooking stream sometime. But yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get this chess game started. We're gonna do my favorite opening. I forgot what it's called. It's an opening that I just have been playing around with. Essentially, it's gonna take the B pawn and the D pawn. We're gonna push them forwards. So let's go forwards with this, and we're gonna turn this around. Now, we could critically analyze this and be like, wow, you know, this and this and this. You know what? We're going to be interesting. We're going to take two of my favorite openings. This opening, I believe, is called the Ninzo Witch or something opening. I don't know. I do this opening all the time. The B pawn opening. The only reason this works, by the way, is because you can fast travel your bishop into the game. But for me, I prioritize having this pawn diagonal open. The reason why is so that I can fast travel the bishop to try to get the rook later on, create a lot of diagonals, especially if you castle. If you kingside castle right there, it kind of makes it impossible because you have this bishop pressure, so the king has nowhere to run to. There's a lot of stuff that you could, like, you can get the rook and the bishop into play. There's a lot of stuff you could do off of that opening that I've experimented with, but that's not why we are here today. We are here to play some good old classical chess. The black opening that I prefer, I either prefer Caracan or I prefer St. George. Very easy. The reason I like this one is just because if there's any pressure on this side, it basically like eliminates the need to move this pawn later in the game. So essentially what I'm doing right here is I'm saving a turn so that when I do castle, maybe a long castle, whatever, I just save a turn later in the game. That's the only benefit that I found with St. George. Because again, as Levy will always tell you, you don't want to get back ranked checkmated. So if you move this out the gates, that eliminates the need for you to do that move later on. It saves that one single turn, but I find that sometimes you will benefit in the long run. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of switching around. I'm gonna try to make it like, I don't know, fast. Also, I think my camera just died, so if there's a random cut and edit here or whatever, it's whatever. I'll figure it out post-production, make it all look clean, whatever. So off of this, opponent didn't take any center space. We're just gonna take center space. Continue my development. Right here, what are we doing? St. George, so I could counter with Caracan. This is a typical like game right here. We're actually just going to develop my queen pawn. So in this position right here, I want to, again, for this development that I do, this is my personal like development, whatever, not to say like I invented chess or anything, you know, I'm not curating my, I'm not, what is it called? Massaging my ego or anything, but this is like the development I've been using for years. I don't know how to explain it, but like I've gotten it to a point where like I can kind of understand all countering the counters, if that makes sense. I do that a lot. But if you look, everything is defended. Like, everything's defended pretty well, especially once you get your bishop out there. For this position, what we're going to do is move the king's pawn forward. We're limiting the light square bishop, but I think we should be fine. I think we should be fine. We don't really necessarily need that right now, but I think we should be fine. In this position, for me, I actually think white has advantage, like huge advantage right here. We're going to develop... Yeah, we're going to develop... Typically, I develop my B square knight. That way I can guard for the next move when I go on the offensive, move my king's pawn, and then once I move my king's pawn, I dismantle like any setup that they have there. But right now we're actually going to go on a defensive. We're going to move that knight to f3, essentially just adding more support. Very weird setup that we have here, I'm not gonna lie. Something that we could do to disrupt the setup is just moving this c pawn to c5, and then that way if they do take, we could capture with our bishop, and then they essentially have nothing in the middle. That's good, but I don't think that they're going to take. I'm not saying that because it's me, but I am like, I genuinely don't think they would take ever. I keep on saying they. Yeah, I mean, they have 3 things covering it as well. So that's the whole thing. Like, even if I did take that pawn, they have 3 things covering it. So that's a beautiful thing about their setup. But let's glaze my setup for a second. I have something cooking here, I know. I know for a fact I have something cooking here. Let's see. Let's get a little ambitious. Alright. In this position, what would I really want? What would I really want? I mean, eventually I need to move that E pawn. That way I could maintain control of the center of the board. But for right now, yeah, let's actually move. Let's do the first development. This is more of a modern line. You still have the weird like little gaps right here, but everything is protected. So outside of this bishop, but nothing is really attacking it. And even if it was, it's going to take 2 to 3 moves to attack that bishop anyway. So by the time that anything would attack it, you would see it anyway. That's why I like having this bishop on that square, is that you just get so much coverage and you're able to forecast the game in a different way. Okay, assuming that we know, like, whatever, right? They're going to go for the e4 pawn to attack my d5 pawn. And if I don't take, they're just going to capture my d5 pawn anyway and disrupt my setup. I mean, that would activate my queen, though. There's a lot of things I could do here. I think right now, what I'm going to do, let's actually just add to the modern line. Moving that knight in will protect. I don't really have anything really protecting it, but also I could take their pawn if they bring their pawn in the center. Yeah, there's some interesting things here. Sorry, I feel like I'm making it seem like I'm spending like an eternity on every single move, but for the viewers that actually care about chess, like I'm trying to explain like my thought process. It's very hard because I'm playing like 2 games at once, but that's why I wanted to flip the board every single turn, because otherwise I would just be so lost in my head. The last time I've done this, by the way, was like probably in elementary, or no, middle school. I used to just play games all the time by myself. I still want to move that e-pawn so I can gain center control, but now it's not really covered twice. The reason why is because they have a knight on it and they have a pawn watching e4. So if I bring my pawn out, my knight's going to be captured for free essentially. And that's why having like your e-pawn out there is like really good, because it's like stuff like this, the whole setup, when everything's gravitating towards the middle, it makes it very hard to contest things later on. But hopefully this move right here, that bishop move, will pay off. I love this setup for a lot of reasons. There's just a lot of things you could do. Yep, and then in this position, I've seen this position 1,000 times probably. We're just gonna move our queen forwards, and there's nothing that they could really do. Next turn, I sack a pawn. Next turn, I think I gotta sack the pawn. Yeah, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Also, this is why St. George is very good, is because if you set this up, and if you set up your pawns on the outskirts, you will not have to worry about incoming pressure on your king. I kind of want to pin the knight to the king, but it doesn't really stop this move right here. We can activate something else to, like, I guess not really worry about that, and then the king can't even really castle if we add pressure on this side. You know what? We're going to move the knight right there. Yeah, just all 4 knights. All 4 knights in the game. Let's see, what else do we have? What do we have cooking on white side? We can go for a knight trade. We also castle, but I don't really like long side castle. I mean, it works, but it's like a 50-50. It's very hard. The best move, I think, would be to move the f3 knight, moving it to e5. I think that would be the best move. Yeah, let's just go for it. Stop overcomplicating. So now in this position, they are challenging our knights. They're not really threatening anything else, but we don't want to give up our knight for free. That's the other thing. If I take, they take for sure, otherwise it would be very much throwing, and then they lose center control. That's why that move is not necessarily a blunder, it's just a trade, but like, I think black is actually winning if they take my knight back, which surely they do. And then I just have to escape with this knight. Bro, I can't believe it. My camera cut out again. But anyway, as I was saying, this is not necessarily a blunder, but we can't really do anything. We're kind of forced to take the knight, I think. I don't think there is any like better move. We could maybe advance our queen forwards to protect this knight. Yeah, that's the idea I was talking about before, is if I take right here, they take with a pawn, and then I leave that knight up. Essentially, the board will be clear of anything in the middle outside of their knight and their queen. So their development will be faulty, essentially. So we could sack both knights in order to get that line. I don't know if that's what I want to do yet, though. Or we could also pin the bishop, but that doesn't stop a3. So that's what we're working with right now. Let's actually just trade knights. Again, just simplify things. Let's see. What are we working with here? So definitely if we don't take the pawn, we are throwing. Plus, they are attacking our queen. Or if we don't take the knight, we're throwing. We're actually just going to, yeah. They are attacking our knights. There's a lot of things that we could do here. We could also just trade their knights. And then potentially go for a queen trade, which I think sounds good. I think that sounds good. What are we left with in the middle, though? Yeah, because the coverage that this pawn has, and that's why I wanted to say, what if we just sack the knight, is that we can't really move our queen out of this position or our bishop like very freely. Like, for example, I wanted to set up something where I capture that, so fork the queen and the rook with the knight protected by the queen on f5, f6. However, I can't do any of that because the vision that this pawn has is covering the 2 squares necessary to actually look at it. I mean, outside of, you know, this square, but like it's just covering f6, which is annoying. Is it worth it to try to set that up? No, I don't think so. And I think we're just going to go for a knight trade here. Take out all the knights, simplify the game, simplify the game. Now what we're going for here is either a knight trade and a queen trade, or there's a lot of things we could do here. I was gonna say, if we castle, they take the knight, we move the queen like maybe backwards or something, we'll have this nice long angle, except they will be forced to essentially take our queen, and then also there's nothing stopping them from blocking really, so it's not really forced. Nothing's really forced here, but I would have center control because I'll bring my rook out. Let's see. Yeah, let's go knight trade. In this position, I'm kind of forced to take the knight. I don't know. I don't like horses I don't like knights. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't like knights. And this isn't even a shill on knights. Like, hey, I hate the knights. We're just gonna take out all the knights. But these are literally just the best plays, are they not? Just trade out all your knights, and then the board is so much more simpler. Let's see. Like, do I have a better move? I don't think I do. Yeah. I mean, this would... I don't know. I kind of want my queen. That's the thing. But if I don't take the knight, it's just gonna be a hindrance later on, so... Taking the knight. Alright. And then they are attacking my queen. So I got two options here. Either I could take the pawn, keep center control with the queen, or I could take their queen. We're taking the pawn. So the queen, we dodged a bullet. What are we working with here? Yeah, the tough thing about not having the knights is that I can't really add pressure onto this pawn unless directly. And it's supported by literally everything next to it, so that's the other hard part about it. Let's see. The main thing is don't make any blunders, as Gotham Chess said. As Gotham Chess said once... Wait, what did I just say? As Gotham Chess once said, don't make any blunders. This pawn is so annoying. Even if I want for like an en passant thing, whatever, it's just going to stay on the same diagonal, and then the bishop's always going to cover it. So I need to get rid of that bishop. And then I can't move my e-pawn, so I can't activate my white bishop, which is hella annoying. And it's protecting this pawn because now it's pinned to the rook. That pawn is pinned to the rook, essentially. Very annoying. So it's either I get rid of the bishop or the queen. Let's do this. This is a way more simpler game, by the way, without knights. In this position, what am I looking for, really? I guess I can continue the onslaught, I guess. We're gonna have to reroute the queen. What I'm going to do first though is I'm going to protect. I'm gonna double up on my E-pawn. Alright, next thing that we're working with on the black side is we're probably gonna have to get rid of that queen. And then also, they added more pressure with that pawn, which is annoying. I can't really activate these squares. Even if I got my rook out there, it wouldn't be much help, to be honest. Let's see. I want to go, like, attack the queen directly, which would actually be really good. In protecting their e-pawn, they allowed me to move to h4, which attacks the king. It would reroute the king, so it would move it onto its only available spot, or it can move its poison pawn. If they move the poison pawn, aka the g2 pawn, it would allow for this nice diagonal onto the rook. And, you know, if I activate both bishops, that rook is going to be pinned to that area. That being said, I'm going to move d5. Alright, so if I attack the queen with my queen, it would be a queen trade, yes, but they would develop their pawns further. Not very ideal. I can also bring my rook over. Don't really want to do that, to be honest. Can't really afford to move my queen. You know what? I got some moves here. Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move right here. Yeah, fuck it, we're taking the queen, bro. Like, I was trying to do something fancy where maybe, like, I sack the bishop over here, create a nice diagonal. I can put my queen on a5, and then if they take, I take rook, but then that bishop is covering the rook, so I can't really do anything off of that. Very annoying. Let's see. This move is kind of simple. Not because it's a queen, but we're just gonna take with the e-pawn, replace the d-pawn, and now everything's covered. I have a broken pawn structure, which I don't like, and they have middle control still. We're gonna add pressure on the right side. I can combat the pressure. Oh, let me do that. I know some people are gonna be annoyed if it's not straight. I could combat the pressure directly, or I could do something kind of, I can just add more to the center, add more pressure. They're not really attacking anything right now, so the left side is kind of fine. That was kind of a dead move, in my opinion. It's kind of a setup move, but this is one of just many layers of setup. So now this pawn is like essentially invincible, bro. And if I make it past, like it's just very hard to combat this now. Let's see, what do I have to work with? I do want to activate this light squared bishop. I can do one of two things. I could put the bishop here so it plays a more passive role. If I move it to b7, it's more passive, it's more protective. I activate the rook though, maybe I can go behind the lines and do some shenanigans over there. Yeah, it's gonna revolve around this right side, I think. And then I could always castle on that side. Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be. I now have like a broken pawn structure though. I could move my king forwards. I really could do that. I just have to be wary about things coming in from the back ranks. a3. Pawn to a3 is set up. It also disables bishop to b4, making a check. However, I could just move pawn to b4. Just for now, bishop e7. They move bishop e7. It could potentially set up for check. What I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to castle, yeah? Yeah, let's castle. I'm gonna move this rook right there. This is a very defensive setup from black. Everything's covered by like 2 or 3, so it's going to be hard to attack them. I've made a lot of passive moves, which isn't very good. Let's do this. A little funky. Yeah. That right there. Yep. There's already multiple ideas at play. I'm just gonna let this, I might stop commentating and let this game play out. Best move here, I think, is literally just sack the rook. D8, bishop takes, I'm assuming. Maybe the rook takes, I don't know. But bishop takes, and then I take with pawn, and then they're just up a piece. Which, are they even up a piece? I don't know if they're... Is it even? Oh, no, I mean... I guess, yeah, it would be even. It would be dead even. White is up a pawn, so... let's see. That might be the play. It would significantly, like, reduce material, and then we just have a bishop endgame. So, promotion queen, and then... Oh. What the fuck am I doing? Oh yeah, I already promoted. They take with that, whatever. We're just gonna fast travel that. And then now we just have a pawn rook endgame, which is gonna be interesting to say the least. Honestly, take, yeah, free pawn, I guess. Let's check. That's probably a bad move because I'm moving to the center of the board, but you know, I don't. That's gonna be hard. That might be a little bit hard. Let's see. This bishop is still covering this damn white pawn, bro. How do I win this? I guess take my king right here, and then I'm gonna have to run my king to, yeah, okay. Let's check right there. I pretty much already know the move, so I don't think I have to switch the board, but just for the sake of perspective, I'm going to do that every single time. That right there pins, because now if I take the pawn, they take my bishop, puts me in check, and then also I lose my bishop. And then even if none of that happens, I just can't use my bishop anymore. So, and they might just take my bishop either way. My bishop. I literally don't have any other moves. I mean, I could, like, take the pawn, but... Would that have been Desperado? Like... no idea. No idea. This damn bishop is still covering the... Look. This was the idea from Black's perspective. Double up the rook and the pawn, even if they use en passant. You know, if I checked the king where he was, even if they used en passant, the rook would take care of the rest, and then the king would be there to take care of the pawn right over here. None of that can work because the bishop is right here. So the king couldn't solo this one pawn. That bishop is so annoying, bro. Oh, jeez. Okay. In order to keep this intact, by the way, I either have to activate my king. I either have to activate my king or I have to sack some pieces, bro. And I can't possibly get my king to the other side of the board so I can make a queen. So, this is gonna be annoying, bro. An annoying ass endgame, bro. Yo, this position is so hard for white. I don't think y'all understand. Like, no matter what I do, I think black wins this. That's so difficult, bro. The position is so bad for white. F4 prevents E5. I still have to worry about this. I don't have enough moves. They only have, bro, 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I guess, would I have? Yeah, I think, hold on. But then there's this. We could still, yeah. You know what? Let's just do that. I don't think there's anything white can do here to win, realistically. And then here, this is just the game ender, to be honest. This right here is just the game ender. I think this right here, yeah, you literally can't do anything. I guess move that forwards and then white here. Maybe there's a blunder in there. I thought that was game. I literally thought that was game. But this right here is actually going to be the game ender. And then we're just going to have to go until... Would they even have any? No, they can't support. Yeah, they literally can't support. And then as white, you should be resigning right here. Yeah. You just can't support anything. Oh, and then this right here, you have this right there, and then that's mate right there. I don't know if I did that properly for black. Maybe I did, but regardless, black has a dub on the board. That took way too long. Next game, we're gonna fast travel, and hopefully in the recording, it's like, whew. So, as you can see, this is not another game of chess, or maybe it is, who knows, maybe I just put chess in the background, but I totally underestimated how long exactly this would take, even just one game. I think next time I do this, which I'm definitely going to do this again, so stay tuned for that. I think next time I do this, I'm going to have to set a timer, because as you can see, the video is already 30 minutes long, or maybe it's sub 30, who knows, but by this point it's already like a full video, and the ending doesn't really change. Black does win again, however white wins in the middle like sometime, but black wins, and it leads to this position here, which I took a picture before. And yeah, all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy, because again, this is probably one of the funnest videos I've ever had to make, even if it was a total nothing burger, kind of. I don't know, like this was really just like an idea that I was like thinking about for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's see what happens. If you guys are interested, like actually interested what happened in the rest of the set, be sure to let me know and I'll turn that into an actual video. This chess set and board was something that has been with me for a long time, and even when I was in high school and I wanted to do competitive chess still, I took this chessboard everywhere. I kind of treated it like my camera, the same way I did photography. I had a motto or a mantra, and I said, there's never nothing in life to photograph. that was the same like phrase that I had for chess. Like, there's never gonna be a time in my life where I'm gonna be like, all right, let's hang up chess. I can hang up Persona. I can hang up Siege. I can hang up Smash Brothers. You know, I can hang up, I don't know, Tetris. But I think chess is gonna stay with me for a very, very, very long time. All that being said, again, I hope you guys did enjoy, and truly let me know if you want to see the rest of the games. You know, a lot of different chess techniques, a lot of different openings, a lot of different variations of the first couple of openings that we did. And I know it's not perfect. I know there's probably some better moves. And actually analyzing it, I think there's actually like 4 alternative routes from just the modern variation of St. George and Ninja Witch that I probably could have went through. Like some of the things I was talking about, I was like, that like upon looking at it again, I was like, that looks like a brilliant move compared to something that is just a great move. But I think again, this is just a teaching moment for everyone. And yeah, honestly, I don't know how to end this video because I wasn't planning on doing a voiceover. The set kind of just ends and I play some, you know, I play the footage and whatever, and I don't know. Even when the set ended, I think I recorded for maybe another 30-40 minutes. And yeah, like I was like, I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna give you guys a thumbs up. I guess that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna give you guys a thumbs up, and I'll see you later. Peace. This is honestly a fun video. I don't know how many funs I can get. Fun video. But yeah, bye.